Let's take the very first reminder, the power of intention. Too often, people rise from their beds in the morning and allow the day to simply carry them wherever it chooses. They react to whatever message comes through their phone, whatever mood greets them, whatever circumstance appears in front of them. And in that state of reaction, they wonder why their days feel repetitive, unfulfilling, and sometimes even meaningless. But you and I know that the human being is not meant to live as a passive passenger. We are endowed with the ability to direct, to focus, to set an intention that gives meaning to what follows. When I say intention, I don't mean a vague hope or a fleeting wish. I mean a conscious, deliberate reminder to yourself each morning of what kind of person you choose to be and what kind of day you want to create. It's about telling yourself, today I will remain calm under pressure, or today I will be present with my family, or today I will give my best to my work. These are not grand, unrealistic goals, they are guiding principles, and the power of such a principle lies in how it shapes every choice you make across the day. Psychologists have long explained the concept of priming. The mind becomes sensitive to whatever idea or value you impress upon it. If you begin the morning reminding yourself of patience, for instance, you'll find that the situations which usually irritate you won't trigger the same reaction, because your brain is already anchored in patience. The intention acts like a lens. It filters how you interpret what happens, and it directs your energy to what matters. Without that lens, you risk scattering your energy across distractions and irritations that have no real value. Now, some people hear this and say, but I can't control what happens in my day. And that is true. None of us can. Life will continue to throw its unexpected challenges at us. But intention is not about controlling the events. It is about controlling your posture towards them. Think of a sailor. He cannot control the wind or the waves, but he can adjust his sail. That adjustment, small as it may seem, determines whether he reaches the shore or is tossed endlessly in circles. In the same way, your morning intention is the adjustment of your sail. Philosophers from the Stoics to modern thinkers echo this truth. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, would begin his mornings reminding himself of the challenges he was sure to face, difficult people, frustrations, losses. But he would also remind himself that none of these things could touch the integrity of his mind unless he allowed them to. That practice centuries ago is the same practice I am inviting you to adopt. Start with a reminder that grounds you in who you want to be, regardless of what the day delivers, and let me be practical here. This does not require an hour-long meditation or a complicated ritual. It requires 30 seconds of clarity before you check your phone, before you plunge into the noise of the world. Sit up, breathe deeply, and ask yourself, what is my intention today? If you do this consistently, you will notice your days start to carry a thread of coherence. You will feel less at the mercy of circumstances and more like a leader of your own life. So as you leave your bed tomorrow morning, remember, the power of your day begins in the power of your intention. You cannot control everything around you, but you can always choose what you carry within you, and that choice, repeated daily, can change the very direction of your life. And I want you to really think about this every single morning before the rush begins, before the weight of the world presses in. You have a choice to recognize what is already present in your life. Too often, people wake up scanning for what they don't have, what's missing, what's wrong, what hasn't yet worked out. That mindset is like opening your day with a deficit, a sense of lack. Gratitude reverses that. It shifts the lens from scarcity to abundance, from complaint to contentment. You see, gratitude is not simply about saying thank you in a polite manner. It is a deep acknowledgement of the reality that you have more than you realize, and that much of what sustains you every single day is not of your own making. The air you breathe, the health that allows you to move, the relationships that support you, the opportunities waiting to be seized, none of these can be taken for granted. And when you begin the morning with gratitude, you are not just engaging in a positive habit. You are training your mind to focus on what is stable, meaningful, and uplifting. Psychologists have studied this extensively. They've found that people who practice gratitude regularly experience higher levels of well-being, lower stress, and even improved physical health. But beyond the science, there's a deeper wisdom here. Gratitude humbles you. It reminds you that life is not owed to you, it is gifted to you. And when you treat something as a gift, you take care of it differently. You don't waste it, you don't overlook it, you cherish it. Think about how your day changes when you start with complaint. You spill a little coffee, traffic is heavier than usual, the email inbox is overwhelming, and suddenly the whole day feels heavy. Now contrast that with a morning that begins with gratitude. You remind yourself, I woke up today when so many didn't. I have food when others are hungry. I have another chance to grow, to give, to love. With that posture, even when the same small inconveniences appear, they don't weigh you down in the same way. Gratitude doesn't remove challenges, but it lightens their burden. Philosophers and spiritual teachers across traditions have emphasized this. The Stoics would advise meditating on loss, not to depress oneself, but to sharpen the sense of value for what you currently hold. Islamic tradition reminds us that if we are grateful, we will be increased, not only in material terms, but in the capacity of the heart to experience joy. Even in modern psychology, gratitude is considered a gateway to resilience. Different languages, different frameworks, but the same truth. Gratitude transforms the way you carry life. Now, some of you may be asking, but what if I don't feel grateful? What if life is genuinely difficult right now? And that is a valid question. Gratitude is not about denying pain or pretending everything is perfect. It is about recognizing that even in the midst of difficulty, there are still elements of your life that carry beauty, hope, and value. You may not have everything you want, but if you have even one thing to hold on to, a supportive friend, the ability to breathe deeply, the chance to start again, that is a seed of gratitude, and from that seed, perspective grows. So, what can you do tomorrow morning before you check your phone, before you get lost in headlines or deadlines? Pause. List 3 things you are grateful for. They can be as simple as, I'm alive, I have clean water, I can see the sunlight. These reminders are not small, they are the foundations of your existence, and when you honor them daily, you carry yourself differently throughout the day. Remember this, gratitude does not change your circumstances, but it does change you. And when you change, your entire experience of life shifts with you. If intention gives you direction, and gratitude gives you perspective, then the third reminder is about recognizing the force you carry within. You control your energy. Every single morning, you step into the day with a reservoir of energy, mental, emotional, spiritual. The question is not whether life will demand from that reservoir, because it will. The real question is, who decides where that energy goes? Will you allow every passing irritation, every careless comment, every piece of bad news to drain you? Or will you claim ownership over your energy and decide where it is invested? Most people underestimate just how much power lies in this simple recognition. They believe their mood is dictated by circumstance. I'm angry because of traffic, I'm stressed because of work, I'm upset because of what someone said. But pause for a moment and consider, is it the event itself that controls you, or is it your response to that event? 2 people can experience the exact same situation. One walks away furious, the other remains calm. The situation is identical, but the energy is different. What makes the difference? Choice. And choice always begins with awareness. Psychology calls this emotional regulation, the ability to notice your internal state and consciously adjust how you engage with it. But on a deeper level, it is a matter of responsibility. If you hand over control of your energy to every person and circumstance, then you are essentially allowing the world to dictate the quality of your life. Yet when you reclaim that control, you begin to live as a leader of your inner world. And that leadership, day by day, shapes the course of your outer world. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you wake up, and on your way to work someone cuts you off in traffic. You have 2 choices. You can allow that small moment to hijack your energy, and you carry irritation into the rest of your morning, snapping at colleagues, feeling heavy and distracted. Or you can decide, this moment does not deserve my energy. You let it pass, you breathe, and you preserve your energy for what truly matters. The event is the same, but the day unfolds differently because you chose where to invest yourself. Philosophers have long recognized this truth. The Stoics taught that it is not events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Spiritual teachers echo the same principle. Your energy follows your focus. If you pour it into negativity, you strengthen negativity. If you pour it into purpose, you strengthen purpose. It is as though your energy is a currency. You cannot spend it twice. If you waste it on anger or worry, you have less to spend on growth, love, and service. Now, I am not suggesting that you should suppress all emotions or pretend everything is fine when it isn't. Controlling your energy does not mean denying reality. It means acknowledging what arises within you and then choosing how to channel it. Anger, for example, can be destructive if left unchecked, but it can also be transformed into determination when directed wisely. Sadness can drain you, but it can also soften you, making you more compassionate. The point is not to kill your emotions, but to guide them, so that your energy builds rather than breaks you. So tomorrow morning, remind yourself, I am the custodian of my energy. No one can steal it without my permission. When you step out of your home, you are carrying a limited supply, and how you spend it determines the quality of your day. Protect it from pettiness, invest it in growth, and share it with those who uplift rather than drain you. Remember this, your energy is your life in motion. Guard it, direct it, and use it well, because every day you are spending pieces of your life that you will never get back. If you've set your intention, filled your heart with gratitude, and taken ownership of your energy, the next reminder is one that protects you from a silent but dangerous trap, the pursuit of perfection. Every morning, remind yourself that progress matters far more than perfection. Too many people wake up with a heavy burden on their shoulders, demanding from themselves flawless execution in every area of life. And because they can't reach that impossible standard, they end up doing nothing at all. They procrastinate, they delay, they abandon their efforts, because in their minds, if it cannot be perfect, then why even begin? This is one of the greatest thieves of human potential. Think about it. How many dreams have been buried not because the person lacked talent, but because they believed their first step wasn't good enough? How many opportunities have been missed because someone thought, I'm not ready yet? That mindset is like standing at the edge of a river, refusing to step in until you can guarantee you'll reach the other side without ever getting wet. Life simply doesn't work that way. The only way to grow, to cross, to learn, is by stepping forward. Imperfectly, perhaps even clumsily, but stepping nonetheless. Philosophers and thinkers across centuries have spoken about the virtue of small, consistent action. Aristotle reminded us that we become what we repeatedly do. Excellence, he said, is not an act but a habit. That means greatness is not built in one flawless performance, but in the small, daily efforts we are willing to make. Modern psychology confirms this. Habits compound, momentum builds, and the brain learns by repetition, not by waiting for perfection. So when you start your morning with the reminder that progress is the goal, you liberate yourself from the prison of unrealistic expectations. Think about a child learning to walk. No parent expects perfection. The child falls, stumbles, wobbles, but with each attempt, strength develops. Now imagine if that child decided, unless I can walk perfectly, I will not try again. It sounds absurd. Yet, as adults, many of us do the same thing in our own pursuits. We fall once, we fail once, and we conclude that we are not capable. But the truth is, those very stumbles are part of the process that leads to strength. Perfection in reality is often an illusion. It paralyzes us because it tricks us into thinking there is some ideal state where all conditions align before we act. But life is never that tidy. The conditions will never be perfect. The timing will never be flawless. What you have is today, with its imperfections, its limitations, and its possibilities. And progress within those conditions is far more valuable than waiting endlessly for the perfect moment that may never arrive. So tomorrow morning, when you feel overwhelmed by the thought of everything you must accomplish, shrink it down. Ask yourself, what is one small step I can take today toward growth? It might be 10 minutes of reading, a short walk for your health, a single phone call you've been avoiding. Small steps compound into great change, and when you allow yourself to celebrate progress, you fuel your motivation to keep moving forward. Do not confuse progress with mediocrity. It is not about lowering your standards, it is about elevating your persistence. It is about realizing that the road to excellence is paved with imperfect but consistent action. So carry this reminder with you each morning. Don't aim for perfect, aim for better. A life of steady progress will always outshine a life spent waiting for flawless beginnings. If you've already grounded your day in intention, gratitude, energy, and progress, then the next reminder becomes critical. Your time is your life. Each morning, you must remind yourself that the hours ahead are not simply blocks on a calendar. They are pieces of your existence that you will never get back. Time is the most valuable currency you possess, and yet it is the one most people spend carelessly. You can lose money and earn it again. You can lose possessions and replace them. But once a day is gone, it is gone forever. Think about this. How often do we say, "I don't have time," yet the reality is we do have time. It is just being poured into places that do not nourish us. Hours vanish in mindless scrolling, in meaningless conversations, in worrying about things we cannot control. Then we wonder why we feel unfulfilled. The truth is, life is not short, it is just badly managed. And when you recognize that your time is your life, you become far more intentional about how you spend it. Philosophers and sages across history warned us of this. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, wrote that it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Islamic tradition constantly reminds us of the fleeting nature of life, urging us to seize the moment before it slips away. Even modern productivity experts echo the same timeless wisdom. Guard your mornings, because how you begin sets the tone for everything that follows. This is why your morning hours are sacred. In the quiet of dawn, before the world intrudes, you hold in your hands the purest stretch of time. What you do with it either strengthens you for the day ahead or scatters you before you even begin. Too many people wake up and immediately surrender their time to distractions, endless news feeds, notifications, trivial tasks. By the time they look up, the most precious part of their day has been spent without thought. Imagine, instead, starting your morning with the awareness that every hour is an investment. Ask yourself, where will this time go, and what return will it bring? If you invest it in growth, reading, reflection, exercise, you will reap strength. If you invest it in service, you will build relationships and meaning. But if you waste it on trivialities, you should not be surprised when the day feels empty. The law of time is as unbreakable as the law of gravity. You reap what you sow. Now, some people might say, but my responsibilities consume me. I don't have control over my schedule. And it is true that many parts of our day are dictated by duty, but even then you still possess choice. You can choose how present you are in those duties. You can choose whether to complain through them or to see them as opportunities to contribute and grow. And before and after those obligations, you can still carve out small stretches of time that are truly yours. Even 10 minutes of purposeful focus in the morning can shift the entire rhythm of your day. This is why one of the most powerful reminders you can give yourself each morning is simply this: do not waste the irretrievable. When you spend time wisely, you are not just filling hours, you are building your life moment by moment. When you waste time, you are not just losing minutes, you are losing fragments of your very existence. So tomorrow, when you open your eyes, remember, your time is your life. Spend it with care, protect it from theft, and invest it in what truly matters. Because at the end of the day, the story of your life will not be written in words, but in how you spent your hours. We've spoken about intention, gratitude, energy, progress, and time, but there is one final reminder that binds all of these together. Repetition is the key. You can hear these words once and feel inspired, but unless you practice them every morning, they will fade into the background noise of life. The human mind forgets quickly, and motivation is fleeting. Real change comes only when a principle is repeated, reinforced, and lived until it becomes part of who you are. Think about how the brain works. Neuroscientists tell us that habits are formed through repetition. Each time you perform a behavior, you carve a small pathway in your mind. The more often you repeat it, the stronger that pathway becomes, until one day it feels natural, automatic. That is why it is not enough to know the value of intention, gratitude, or time management in theory. You must remind yourself daily until it becomes the natural way you operate. Otherwise, the old patterns will return and you will slip back into reactivity, distraction, and waste. Repetition is not glamorous, it is not exciting, but it is powerful. Great athletes, great thinkers, great leaders, they are not made by a single moment of brilliance. They are shaped by the small, consistent reminders and disciplines they repeat every day. You don't become patient by hearing one lecture on patience. You become patient by practicing patience 1,000 times, by reminding yourself again and again until it becomes second nature. And this is why your morning is so important. It is the beginning of the day, the reset button. Every morning is an opportunity to repeat these reminders until they sink deeply into your heart. The repetition is not boring, it is anchoring. Just as you wouldn't expect to eat once and be nourished forever, you cannot expect to hear wisdom once and be transformed. You must feed the mind and heart daily with what sustains them. Now, some people might say, but isn't it enough to just know these things? Knowledge is one thing, transformation is another. A person can know what is healthy but still eat poorly, know the importance of kindness but still lash out, know the value of time but still waste it. The difference lies in practice, and practice is sustained only through repetition. The reminder itself is an act of humility. It is admitting that we are forgetful creatures, prone to drift, and therefore in need of steadying ourselves again and again. Even faith traditions emphasize this. Why do we repeat prayers, recite affirmations, engage in rituals daily? Because repetition shapes the soul. It ingrains truth so deeply that it is no longer something you remember, it is something you embody. In the same way, your morning reminders, if repeated consistently, will shift from ideas you admire to truths you live. So tomorrow, when you wake up, don't expect a miracle in one day, expect a seed. Repeat the reminders, water them with practice. Over time, they will grow into habits, and those habits will shape your destiny. Progress may feel slow, but consistency always multiplies results. The small things you repeat each morning will one day become the big changes others admire in you. And never forget this, repetition is not weakness, it is strength. It is the way human beings are wired to grow. The reminders that seem simple today will become the very foundations of your character tomorrow. So as you rise each morning, repeat the words that guide you, reinforce the values that anchor you, and remind yourself of the life you want to live. Because in the end, the life you live is simply the sum of the reminders you chose to repeat.